Daniel. I'm a student at JTech currently. We're at Nissan at the Avenue where I work. Today I'm going to be showing you a step-by-step tutorial on how to safely lift a vehicle into the air and then bring it back down while utilizing all of the locking mechanisms and everything that we have. Alright guys, so first things first that you want to know is you want to look over the lift that you're using. They're all different. I mean, most of the ones in here we have are similar, but for the most part you're going to find lifts that have a different setup when it comes to your main control box here. So what you want to look for is you do have your lift button. It actuates the hydraulic lift itself. It forces the fluid through, which causes the arms to raise up into the air with the car on it. So you want to locate that. That's important, but what's more important is going to be your safety lock, release button or lever. Some of them have buttons, some of them have levers. The button ones actuate another hydraulic release mechanism that takes it out of the lock position so that you can lower the vehicle afterwards. If you follow me over here, I'll show you one that has a lever on it. As you can see, this one right here is a lever. Same concept, that one, you would have to just hit the button and it'll release the locks. This one, you just pull it down and it releases the locks and the lift goes down. Pretty straightforward. Stop. So the other part that you want to look at here is, like I said, they're all a little bit different. That one that we looked at over there has a smaller hydraulic release lever. This one has a much larger one, which makes it just a little bit easier. You don't have to put as much force on it to let it down. These Challenger lifts are actually the same ones that we have at JTech. You want to note here, guys, is whenever you pull a vehicle in on a lift, you want to make sure that it's pretty well centered between the two posts. As you can see here, we've got about probably 2.5 feet between the door pad and the door. Same on this side, it's pretty much even. When you do that, it disperses the weight evenly on the arms. Another thing to note whenever you pull the vehicle in, you want to look right here. As you can see, here is the main post, or one of the side, obviously we have two. Whenever you pull it in, to make sure that the vehicle is centered, you want to make sure that a good rule of thumb is your mirror is going to be in line with the posts as well. That way you know the car is not going to be centered, but the weight is going to be centered on the arms whenever you put them underneath the vehicle. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put the arms underneath the vehicle here. You want to come on over. Just go down over here. In front. Yep. So underneath here, when you bring it in, these have automatic locking buttons or pegs that go through underneath. When the vehicle is lifted up, when the arms are lifted up off the ground, those pegs depress, and what happens is there's gears in here and they lock so that these don't move around while the vehicle's in the air. When you put it on the ground, it pushes those in and you're able to slide the arms again. So all we're doing here is getting it lined up underneath. You can go ahead and cut that. The next thing, after you get your vehicle aligned in your lift, you want to put the arms underneath the vehicle. At the same time, you're kind of checking to see where the mounting points are. Good thing to do before you get to this step, I forgot to mention it earlier. We have these manuals that you can look it up and it'll tell you the mounting points for arms whenever you go to lift your vehicle in the air. A lot of them are going to be pinch welds. Some frame vehicles, they're going to be on the actual frame itself, the frame rails. But most of these unibodies, it's going to be on pinch welds or hardened steel spots underneath the vehicle that is meant for lifting. You want to lift the vehicle or lift the arm up just a little bit so that it gets close, and you can adjust the pad as needed to get it lined up perfectly. Again, most lifts, once it's off the ground, you're limited to your range of movement. This one, you're able to move it out, but you're not able to move it back in. That's what that clicking sound is that you're hearing. Alright, so as you can see here, the pinch weld on this vehicle doesn't look too sturdy. But the other reason why they didn't use it is because the arms on the vehicle, or on the lift here, are too long. They can't be brought back any further for the pad to line up with the pinch weld. So they've opted to use the frame of the vehicle. So that's what I'm lining it up with here. And if you want to... Alright, after you get your lift arms raised up 8 inches off the ground so that you can adjust your pads as needed to get them lined up with your pinch welds, You can go ahead, lift the vehicle 8 to 10 inches off the ground. And then what you're going to do at that point is you're going to give it what's called a jounce check. You're just going to do this to make sure that the vehicle is sturdy. The best thing to do is do it from the rear and from the front as well, just to make sure. And then once you're done with that, you can go ahead and lift the vehicle all the way up. So as I lift the vehicle up, you're going to hear a clicking sound every 8, I believe it's 8 inches. Every 8 inches, you'll hear a clicking sound. That's the locks engaging into the arms themselves. It's the safety mechanism that lifts have to prevent the vehicle from dropping on your head whenever it comes, if for whatever reason the hydraulic system fails on it. So we're going to go ahead and lift it up, and you're going to hear the clicks. I'm going to speed this part of the video up, but you're going to hear the probably high-pitched clicking. Up to the working height that you want it at. For the purpose of this video, I'm just taking it all the way to the highest point. Once you get it up to the highest point, you'll hear it stop. And then what you want to do is, without hitting your lock release lever or button, just go ahead and rest the vehicle down on the locks, just like that. There's not much room between the highest point and the locks on this lift. Once you do that, you know it's resting on the lock, so if the hydraulic mechanism fails, you know that vehicle's not going to come crashing down on your head unless the locks fail, but more than likely it won't happen. And to get it off the locks, all you need to do is lift it back up off the locks. Once it's there, you're going to hit your lock release lever or button, and then you're going to start by gently lowering the vehicle first, and then you can just go full bore all the way until the vehicle is back on the ground. If you're going to continue working on the vehicle while you have it on the lift, best thing you can do is keep tension on the arms themselves. That way someone doesn't walk by and kick it out from underneath the vehicle. And then you go to try and lift it, and it lifts one side, or scrapes the side of the car, or the car flips on its side. Anything can happen if only one side is being lifted at once. So best thing you can do is, if you plan to lift the car back up in the air again, keep some tension on the arms. That way no one just kicks them out. And that's all I have for you guys. This was our video on how to properly lift a vehicle on one of our cable hydraulic lifts.